These are the new MacBook Airs, and if you've been paying attention, you already know not too much has changed. And after using them for a couple of days, I can confirm that. There are still some things to know beyond the new sky blue colors, so let's dive in. Since I've mentioned it, these are both in the new sky blue color, which to my eyes is really more of a silver blue. It's a nice subtle color, so you should be happy if you're just looking for something slightly different. The thing is, I consider the Air the MacBook equivalent to the iMac, and I'm not sure why Apple didn't go with one or more of the 7 colors it uses for those. It's likely Apple has a ton of market research that says the colors people want at home aren't what they want for their laptops, but maybe with the next full redesign, we'll get at least one of the iMac's brilliant colors. Moving on. So the biggest change is the jump from the M3 Silicon to the M4. The base 13-inch Air has a 10-core CPU and 8-core GPU, while the 15-inch starts with a 10-core CPU and 10-core GPU. Both have 16 gigs of unified memory and 256 gigs of storage. Both sizes start at $100 less than the M3 models, so $999 for the 13 and $1199 for the 15. It's a pleasant surprise, but unsurprisingly, Apple didn't lower the prices on upgrades. This means that if you want to upgrade to 512 gigs of storage, you'll need to pay an additional $200. And the same goes for increasing the memory. Since they start with 16 gigs of memory though, you're in pretty good shape there, but unless you store most of your stuff in the cloud or on an external drive, you'll likely want to at least upgrade the storage. Now, let's talk about performance and battery life. I had some time to run a couple of standard benchmarks on them, Geekbench 6 and Cinebench 2024. You can see from the results that the M4's performance is an improvement on the M3's, if not a huge one, and is in line with the CPU performance of a couple of Snapdragon X Elite Copilot Plus PCs we've tested. Most importantly, it's a sizable improvement over the M1 MacBook Air, so if you have one of those and it's not feeling quite as snappy anymore, there is good reason to upgrade to an M3 or M4 Air. Their graphics performance is also better than the Snapdragon X laptops, so if you're looking at an Air for photo and video editing or even some gaming, go right ahead. One of the commenters on my last video about the Air asked if it could handle World of Warcraft, and yes, it can, even with the graphics settings maxed out. Although, the more demanding the game, the more you'll have to scale back on those graphics settings. As for battery life, I got roughly 15 hours on our streaming video rundown test, which is more or less what I expected based on the M3 Airs I tested last year. It's all going to depend on what you're doing, your screen brightness, audio level, etc., but with basic use, you'll have no problem getting through a workday. Okay, so you'll get a few new features with the new chips. Those include a 12 megapixel center stage camera with desk view support. That lets you share the area in front of your keyboard. And you get Thunderbolt 4 USB-C ports and the capability to connect and extend to 2 displays and leave the MacBook Air open for a third screen and use of the keyboard, trackpad, and Touch ID. It would be nice if Apple added Face ID when it does the next full overhaul of its MacBooks, but Touch ID is sufficient. It would also be nice if Apple moved the MagSafe connection to the other side next time, so you have the option to charge from either the left or right. Overall, the M4 Air is a good, if minor, update to an already fantastic MacBook, and it's at a lower price to boot. If you have an M3 Air or even an M2 Air, there are some reasons to upgrade, like the better camera and external display support, but there's just not a massive gap in performance to make the M4 one of those reasons. For Intel or M1 users, the performance gap is sizable enough though. Something to keep in mind is that while the M3 Airs are going away, you might be able to pick one of those up at a deep enough discount, new or refurbished, to make you forget about the features that you're not getting with the M4. So what do you think? Is there enough here to make you upgrade to an M4 Air, or are you going to hold off until Apple does a full redesign? Let me know in the comments, and you can read more about the new MacBook Air and the new Mac Studio at CNET.com. And as always, thanks for watching.